Coming up on today's episode, we've got two people that you're not going to want to miss. Steve and Amy Minnis. From campus sweethearts to college president and first lady, we talk about the in-between time. We talk about how they met, what sealed the deal, that famous first date, and what was life like before they came back 20 years ago. Where did you go for your first date?
Well, we went to the Maybe Theater and saw a play there, right? Sure. Yeah, on April 8th, 1981.
That was a silly question.
Yeah. So,
everybody go to the Maybe Theater.
Yeah. Well, we tell the students that story, and that becomes the trivia for, the students. Yeah.
Where's our first date?
Where's our first date?
That's amazing.
Welcome to Always a Raven, a Benedictine College podcast that goes far beyond the brick streets of Atchison, Kansas. Hosted by Janelle Menz, Always a Raven offers a unique glimpse into Ravens from all generations. From where are they now to remember when, these conversations share career triumphs and personal milestones. So whether you are an alum looking to reconnect, a prospective student, or simply curious about what makes Benedictine College so special, join us and discover the enduring power of Benedictine College.
I am so happy today to welcome President Steve Minnis and Amy Minnis to the podcast. President Minnis is in his 20th year as president of Benedictine College, graduated from Benedictine in 1982, and Amy graduated in 1984. Thank you so much for being here today, you guys. You are really staples and icons of the college, and it's so wonderful to have a chance to talk with you both today.
Well, thank you, Janelle. Yeah.
I was lucky to be in school when you guys came back to Benedictine in 2004. Working in the president's office, I have quite the slew of memories. We were talking about them before we started recording, and the first memory that I have of you coming into the president's office, because I was a student worker, is just your excitement. Like, you walked in and it was the best day ever, and that extended throughout the rest of the time until I graduated. And then now being back as an employee of the college 20 years later, you still have that, and both of you do, because anytime you see Amy on campus or just out and about, you guys just have that air and that demeanor. Okay, so be honest with me, does that exist when you're off the clock?
Well, I think when Steve got this job, this was his dream job.
Really?
And so it really was. And he was just so excited. And I was a little bit more apprehensive when we started, just because I had my 3 kids in school in Johnson County. And so I was more nervous about them than myself or him. I just wanted them to be happy. And so that was probably the thing that bothered me the most about it. But, he was very excited.
Well, it's such a great place, and we're surrounded by these amazing students, these 18 to 22-year-olds. They give you a lot of life, and so it's easy to be excited about being here. And not only is it just 18 to 22-year-olds, but the types of students we get here, they're just amazing. I really do believe we have the best students in the entire world coming to Benedictine College. And so and they make us better. So that's why it's so exciting to be here all the time.
Back in the 80s when you guys were here, did you feel that way? Like the best students were here and it was just the best place ever? And what was it like when you were here?
I think we were probably too immature to realize who was around us. We were just there to have fun. And, but we knew it was a special place back then. Yeah. I ended up going to a public high school, so getting to reconnect with my Catholic values was just nice, to be around people who had the same core values as I did. Yeah. So I noticed it back in the 80s.
Right, and people were... So it's different but the same, right? Mm-hmm. So it's different because, the college was smaller. We had 2 campuses. We had 800 students when we were in school, but we had 2 campuses. So we were basically going to school with 400 people, right? And you knew everybody's name. You knew their mom and dad's name. You knew what their brother's birthday was. I mean, this is how close we were as a community. But... and so then you really bonded with those students, and things have changed because we're a lot bigger now. We're one campus, 2,200 students, but the spirit is the same, and that's what throughout the ages, 166 years, it's always going to be the same: community, faith, and scholarship.
And that's the amazing thing too, just talking to people through generations of whenever they graduated. You talk to them like you've known them forever. Jeff, my husband, didn't go here. And so often we'll see people and he'll be like, okay, how do you know them? I'm like, I don't. I just met them when you met them. But there's that Raven connection that really just bonds us. And it's really, you really can't put your finger on it because it's that intrinsic heart of who we all are because we have that connection of Benedictine College. So let's back up. What got you here?
I was raised in Nemaha County, which is a big German Catholic area, and the Benedictine priests and nuns taught us and served our parish. And I had an uncle who was a priest here. His name was Father Cletus Kohaki. He has since passed. And so my family was really connected with the Benedictine monks. And when my grandparents passed, they had left us a little scholarship here for a Nemaha County person. And so that's what led me here, is just because of my background of being taught by all the Benedictines all my life.
That's amazing.
And I'm from St. Joe, Missouri. I was taught by the Benedictine sisters in high school, Bishop LeBlanc High School. In addition to that, all my coaches, almost all the lay teachers there were from Benedictine College. It was almost as if Sister Mary Agnes McPhee, who is the principal, would call back to Atchison and say, okay, I have an opening for a basketball coach. Who can you send me, right? And so we had this football coach, Coach Don Tabor, who's since passed away, but it was the most respected man in the city, easily the most respected man at our high school. I love the guy. And he would treat everybody the same, right? And I probably hold the record for most drop passes in a season in high school history, right? But he always respected me and treated me great. One day I'm standing in the hallway in my senior year at LeBlanc, and he walks down the hallway and he says, Tiger, where are you going to go to college? Now, you have to understand, Tiger was not my nickname. It was the name he gave to everybody whose name he couldn't remember, okay? And so that's why he called me Tiger. Now, unless your older brother played for him, then he'd call you by your older brother's name. So he called me Tiger. He called my brother John Steve, right? Okay, so he says, hey, Tiger, where are you going to go to college? And I said, well, I didn't know. And my dad was coaching at Missouri Western. My friends were going to Mizzou. And he says, well, we'd really like to have you in Atchison. And I thought, if Don Tabor wants me to go to Benedictine College in Atchison, Kansas, then that's where I should go. And so you can imagine that one conversation, and he thought enough of me to ask me where I was going to go and gave me a suggestion where I should go. That's pretty amazing how everything, I come here, I find my wife, we've got these great kids, I'm back here as the president. It's pretty amazing, one conversation, and so I owe a lot to Don Tabor.
That's amazing. It really is a testament to any conversation, any comment can really change the trajectory of your life.
Right.
So you're here, you guys meet each other.
We always say it was the best 4 years of our lives being here at Benedictine. Yeah. And we have this friend, his name is Billy Grostadier, and he said, I've cried 2 times in my life. The day I moved into Benedictine College and the day I left Benedictine College.
My God.
Isn't that the sweetest?
That is the sweetest. Holy smokes. Wow. Okay, so you're here, you guys meet each other, and then you graduate. You go to law school, correct?
Right.
Okay, and
so
then...
we're 2 years apart.
Right.
And so I'm a junior, and I meet Amy. She's in her beanie at the doorway of the cafeteria, the first week of her school. I was a junior. I'm standing next to Denny Murphy, Coach Denny Murphy, who taught at Nemaha Valley High School where Amy went to school. So he knew Amy Kohaki, and so introduces me to Amy Kohaki because I was a resident hall assistant for him. He was the resident director in Memorial Hall. So introduces me to Amy, and I think she's about the cutest thing I've ever seen. And so then I chased her for about 8 months before she'll ever go out with me. We finally went out on April 8th, 1981.
Where'd you go for your first date?
Well, we went to the Mabee Theater and saw a play there, right?
Sure.
Yeah, on April 8th, 1981.
That was a silly question.
Yeah. So, everybody go to the Mabee Theater.
Yeah. Well, we tell the students that story, and that becomes the trivia for the students. Yeah.
Where was our first date?
Where was our first date?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, where was your first date? Not in Atchison.
Oh, gosh.
Well, he actually had asked me to prom that year, and so we had like a little pre-date before the real date, and I think we went, was it Hammy's?
Yeah, that's right. So But that was.
But was with a group of people
Sure.
Yeah,
for
right.
prom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we went to prom, which now they call spring formal, but it was in the cafeteria, so it wasn't very formal.
In the 80s.
Maybe theater to the cafeteria.
That's right, yeah.
Look at you.
We're moving up.
Yeah.
So then you graduate and you go to law school and you're still here. So how did life start to unfold
So
from that
the
perspective?
students today don't have any idea what it was like dating
Right.
without cell phones
Right.
and FaceTime
Yeah.
and everything. I mean, literally, we wrote letters. I mean, I wrote letters back and forth, right? When we were dating here, in order to get her to go for a walk, I had to throw rocks at her window. Literally had one phone in the on
campus or in the dorms?
No, in the dorm. Each floor had one phone.
Each floor
okay.
had one payphone, so you had to know the payphone number to
Right.
call someone, and then another person would answer the phone, and then they'd come down and tell you, hey, you have a phone call. But sometimes they just holler down the hall and leave
Yeah.
the phone hanging, and
It was literally God's providence that I even got to ask her, because I had to go. My payphone on my floor had to be working. I mean, no one on it. No one had to be on her
Sure.
payphone on her floor, and she had to be there.
Right.
And they had to go get her.
yeah,
I mean, it was
odds of this
unbelievable.
happening.
It was like climbing mountains
Yeah,
to get to
right.
each other, and you could like see each other.
right.
That was a big deal, So we go to prom, and then I go off to law school. She has 2 years left here
Right.
at Benedictine,
Right.
And so, I didn't have a car. I had to borrow my good buddy James Brown's van to come into Atchison to see her, and then she would sometimes come to Topeka, but not very often. I was at Washburn Law School in Topeka, and so, and then she graduates, and she has 1 year. I have 1 year left in law school, but we got engaged that summer, and so she lived with her mom and taught at a Catholic school in Marysville, Kansas, while I finished my last year in law school.
And to speak on the phone was very expensive too, and you probably don't realize this, but the cost to use a phone was, to make a long distance phone call kept decreasing throughout the night. So by 11 o'clock, that was the cheapest time to talk. So you'd have to wait till 11, and finally I'd get a call from him at 11 o'clock, and then we'd be on the phone for hours. His phone
And
bill.
you're sitting in the hallway, like on
My
your
phone bill was
phone.
hundreds of, hundreds of dollars a month,
Crazy.
right? So I'd be $3 a minute during the day. After 7, it was $1 a minute, and then after 11 o'clock, I think it was 50 cents a minute. So I mean, it got to be pretty expensive,
crazy?
right?
And that was before calling cards, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
It's amazing how.
Oh yeah, we're old.
We're done.
Well, you didn't have the rotary.
No, we did.
Oh yeah, sure. I grew up with a
can-
rotary phone. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so then you're teaching.
I taught at St. Gregory's
Okay.
for a year, and
Okay.
then we got married in Seneca on June 8th, 1985.
Right.
Then I got a job in Wyandotte County in Kansas City.
Our Lady of Unity.
And
The principal was a Benedictine sister.
yeah, Sister Morrisita. And we were there for I was
Right,
there
nice.
for a couple of years, and then they were opening a new school in Overland Park called Holy Spirit.
Okay.
And each year they were adding another grade, and so they had up to 5th grade, and they were adding a new 6th grade. So then I took a job at Holy Spirit and was there until we moved to Atchison.
Really?
Yeah.
So how
It's
many years?
About 20 years.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I started out as their 6th grade teacher, and then eventually, once I started having my children, they gave me a part-time job where I just
Okay.
taught junior high algebra. So
Okay.
I would work from 8 till 11, and then go
Yeah.
get my kids. And
Good for you, though.
it's
That's
great,
a tough
yeah.
age and tough subject.
I know, but it was nice to be able to, keep my job and then still
Yeah,
be able to
absolutely.
be with my kids.
It's like the best of both worlds.
It really was.
And then you were at Sprint that
So
whole time, or
after law school, I went to the district attorney's office in Johnson County. So I was an assistant DA. So I tried a lot of criminal cases, right? A lot of jury trials and trials to the court. After that, I went to a small firm for about 3 years, and then I went to Sprint for 14 years, which is now called T-Mobile, but it's a wireless company. So I went there. I was a litigator for a while, and then I did regulatory policy work for a while. So it's literally as boring as it sounds. Okay.
You know, it's funny. Then one of my memories of you, once you first came back, you were still doing your classes to keep your law practice
right,
going and all.
Continuing legal education.
Yes.
Right.
And so you had to leave the office one day to go to a class in Kansas City, and you called us and you were like, okay, I don't know exactly where I'm going. And we were like, are you eating? He's like, and you're like, yeah, I'm eating a cheeseburger. And we're like, and you're driving and you're lost. Add a cigarette, and this is great. Like, well, like, how are you getting there? You know, it was just, I remember being like, that was before everything was hands-free and all the things, you know.
Right.
Happy to report, I believe you made it and got your.
Yes.
He's here to tell about it.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Okay, so through all of this, 20 years, you're out there, you guys are doing life and raising kids and working. In the back of your minds, did you think like, oh, one day we're going to move to Atchison, raise our kids in Atchison and do Benedictine? And
Oh gosh, no.
Probably never. I remember when the job, he was just speaking about the job, and I thought, oh, yeah, go ahead and apply. Let's just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Like the odds of him getting this job are like 0, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so I'm encouraging him, and
So I'm on the board of directors for 12 years.
Right.
So the last 14 years, 14 years at Sprint, the last 12 I was on the board of directors of the college. So my predecessor leaves, and Dr. Dan Carey did a fantastic job here. And when he leaves, I go to the chair and I said, I don't have any experience for this job. You guys would be idiots to hire me. And they did, right? So that was 20 years ago. They haven't figured me out yet. So
was there a little bit like when it was starting to actually come to fruition, were you, as a wife, as a mother, like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this. We're moving to Atchison, and
So
this is.
They have that whole story about, you burn the boats, right? After you get on the island, you burn the boats so you can't, go back home. So we sold the house immediately because I knew that, it's a tough transition.
Right.
You went from one school to another, and Amy's worried about the kids, and so it was kind
everything
of hard.
was wonderful except for I just wanted to make sure my kids were happy.
Right.
And, oh my gosh, from the kids' perspective, it turned out amazing, right?
Because how old were they when you moved here?
Our oldest was going to be a junior
In
high
wow.
school.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Our second was a better transition because he was an 8th grader going into his freshman year.
Right.
And then Molly was, in 6th grade, which is, moving girls during junior high years. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But everybody was so welcoming. And I think they were just, in this community, they're just so used to new professors coming in. So new kids are kind of in and out, so it wasn't new to them.
Sure.
And everybody was just welcomed us with open arms. And our kids loved it so much because they always tell us that someday they want to send their kids to Mar Hill and have them board at the
Really?
school.
Oh,
They, of course, want us to still be here.
Sure.
So we'll see if they actually do it. But
Well, that's wonderful. I'm sure there were moments of, oh gosh, what did we do and such. I mean, that's inevitable. But did you feel like once you got here and got the wheels going and you're like, okay, this is going to be the next chapter of our lives for however long?
well, it did take a while because the boys were coming from a high school that had 1,200 people in it to a high school that had 200 people. And so that was odd for them. But I think all they really cared about is sports.
Sure.
And they saw that, hey, I think here I can play.
Yeah, sure.
And I can play a lot.
Right.
So sports-wise, they just enjoyed it so much and just loved
That's awesome.
the community and loved the diversity of the people. And yeah, it was a real joy for
Yeah, and
everybody.
they have great friends, and Mar Hill Mountain Academy has an international population. So our middle son, one of his best friends is from Korea, actually, and so what a great opportunity for him to meet somebody like that.
Yeah.
And they were able to participate in a lot of things because they need bodies. I always tell the story, when my daughter was in school, you'd have a girl that played in the girls' basketball game, then she'd take a shower, she'd put on her cheerleading uniform, she'd cheer until halftime, then put on her dance uniform, then dance at halftime, and then put a cheerleader. I mean, it's like you do it all, right? In a small school, which is amazing.
It's we have a 6 and a 4-year-old, and we're even seeing that. We went from swimming to cheer practice to dance and I was like, she's 4. Like this is like back in Iowa, like we were doing like one thing at a time because it took a lot longer to get from point A to point B.
Right, yeah.
And here it's,
It's a 5-minute drive to get to all three of those.
And you fill up your gas tank once a month. Like, so it's like not that big of a deal.
It's amazing. It is.
That's really a major silver lining just with that transition and moving here. So
and we're seeing this in Atchison. I mean, we've had, gosh, in the last year or so, we've had at least 10 families move to Atchison that aren't even working for the college, but they just see the kind of this spiritual Catholic community here. Great place to raise a family. After COVID, now you have a lot more people that can work virtually, and so they're making decisions on where do they want to work, not where the corporate headquarters is, but rather where they want to raise their family. So people are selling their homes in Phoenix and Albuquerque and Dallas
Colorado.
and Colorado and Portland, Oregon, and moving to Atchison. And all of a sudden, we've got this amazing, vibrant Catholic community here in Atchison. It's pretty amazing.
How have you guys navigated as a family just through, through all the things, you raising your kids at such an intricate part of their age when you moved here, and then high school, and then college, and now you're empty nesters, and now you're grandparents. Like, how have you watched the seasons of your life all at the same time, which seems so almost unheard of, but its proof is in the pudding when you look out these windows, the trajectory of Benedictine at the same time. It's almost like you guys are really good jugglers.
Well, we always say that we think that once he retires that we're just going to you feel like you're just going to wake up one day and go, I had this crazy dream that we moved to Atchison and you were the president and then you named off everything that happened, and it's like, and then it's like, it really happened. So it's really a dream come true,
That's awesome.
And so,
I always tell people it took us about 20 minutes to adjust to being empty nesters, right? But it's really pretty amazing when you think about it. And, it's all about Our Lady. I mean, everything that's happened has been guided by Mary, and so that's really
lots
helpful.
of prayers have gone into lots of novenas. I'm a big novena prayer, and
absolutely.
My miraculous medal never leaves my neck. And lots of prayers have gone into a lot of trials that have come up over the years. So I'm sure there's more to come.
Well, I know. I remember you were saying what it was like for the kids. Our daughter Molly, she's the youngest. She was in college here. I can't remember what happened. We've had controversial issues sometimes that have come up, and so Molly sent a text out to her siblings saying, "Pray for your dad." I go, okay, well, that's a bad thing, when your kids are saying they need to pray for me because something bad's happening at the college.
Have they ever thought, have they ever given you their 2 cents on what life was like from their perspective? Like, they, obviously they shared that they enjoyed Atchison, they loved that they could do all the things, but it's kind of, in some respects, it's being in the limelight all the time.
Yeah.
We're just pleasantly surprised how positive they've been about it. Each one of them just feels like being here made them better, made them grow.
That's awesome.
Even though it's smaller than where they were at, I think they felt like it was a positive experience. 2 of them, our oldest son and our youngest daughter, went to Benedictine, so graduated from here. And then our middle son, Michael, went to the University of Dayton. And
he wanted to get as far away from his parents as he could. So, he's a middle, second born.
We're, honestly, lots of prayers answered. They're all 3 practicing Catholics, which, what more can you ask for?
Right,
so.
absolutely.
The oldest would always say, I always thought that I would go to college I'd always go to college at a place that's further away than my high school from my home, right? But no, of course he goes to Bar Hill across town, then he goes to college, which is literally in his backyard.
Did they live on campus, or did
they did?
They did.
So,
good.
Poor Matt. I always tell the story. When we were in Kansas City, we kind of lived on this cul-de-sac with kind of a wooded lot and not hardly any neighbors. And now we live in a house where there's a men's dorm, 200 feet from our back door, and our son lived in Newman Hall in the closest room to
our house.
That's hilarious.
I know, isn't that crazy? But
he's like, send over some food.
Right.
He's pretty laid back.
But I think when they were younger, we did feel a little bit like we were in a fishbowl because our house has a lot of windows.
Yeah.
And, when you're younger, you're kind of like getting on them,
Right.
and you're like, oh, close the windows, please, when
Yeah.
you're going to hear me.
And those formative teenage years,
Yes.
it's, I'm sure there were choice conversations that had to be had about life, right? And so I'm
Yes.
sure you did kind of feel like, oh gosh, but
And many times Steve was just busy with the college and
Sure,
life, and so
sure.
a little bit of it fell on my shoulders a lot. And you know how if Dad says it, it's gospel.
Right,
If Mom
right.
says it's like blow it off.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There was
same in our house.
There were some struggles
Yeah.
along the way. It wasn't all smooth sailing.
Did
for
you ever
sure.
say, do you want me to call the president of the college? Like, does that
I
carry more
should've.
weight than I'm going to call Dad?
Yeah. I like that.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what does life look like after Atchison?
Gosh, I don't know.
You know what? We have 2 of our children live in the Prairie Village area, belong to St. Anne's Parish. And so, of course, we love our grandkids so much. It's like the one thing in life that isn't overrated, that's
Right.
for sure. And we can be nice, and we don't have to worry about whether they're good kids or not.
Yeah.
Because that's on our own kids. And so, I don't know. My dream is to live close to them
Sure.
and be there for them and help them out.
Yeah.
But we don't.
We're so spoiled. I mean, it's okay. We have certain requirements. You have to be able to walk to church because we can walk to church here, right?
Right.
And so Amy can wait till the last minute to go, which is really great
the
for her
worst.
style.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know what we're gonna do. Amy always says, "Gosh, you're ever gonna leave this job?" I said, "I don't know. No, what would I do? Who would hire me? I have
Right.
no real skills." I just kind of fell into this thing. It's kind of worked out for us.
Right. So yeah, that's my thought is I want to live by my kids. So we'll
which
see.
is a great thought.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And timing kind of just evolves as the days go by, and you just kind of take it as it comes, right?
Kind of.
Yeah,
I think we're just
yeah.
gonna
And that's good.
wait until
Yeah.
And that's
I was-
sugar runs out.
I tell some of our alums who have new babies, "Are you still going to be the president?" I said, "Yes, me, Dr. Brothers, and Charlie Gartmeyer will still be here." When you-
I think it's a true testament to just trusting, like, whatever the timing looks like is, it's kind of God's timing, right? Like, we give it to God and just let it. To be frank with you, I never thought I would come back to Atchison. It wasn't in my kind of resume of ideas. But I think that's a testament to just trusting, like, it all works out. And if we keep our eyes focused on what matters, then that's the goal, right? And
God has a
it'll work
plan,
out.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate both of you. Thank you for joining us on Always a Raven. New episodes drop every Tuesday, and you're not going to want to miss them. Our guests are reigniting the hearts of Ravens throughout all generations. And wow, we've got some amazing guests coming up. So be sure to like and follow us on your favorite podcast platform. And if you're a new Raven or a potential Raven, be sure to check out our website at benedictine.edu. And remember, once a Raven, always a Raven.